Most people build a raised bed once and think the hard part is over. They buy the lumber, they fill it, they plant, and then, every single spring, they open their wallet again. More bagged soil, more amendments, more compost, more fertilizer. The bed looks the same as it did last year. The yields are the same, but somehow the receipts keep growing. What modern gardening got wrong about raised beds isn't the bed, it's what goes inside it, and what the industry selling you those bags has no incentive to ever explain. Meet Patricia, 67 years old, retired teacher, Central Ohio, two-seater raised bed she built herself 3 years ago. She did everything right. She followed the tutorials. She bought the recommended soil mix, 2 bags of this, 1 bag of that. She fertilized. She watered deeply and consistently, just like every guide told her to. Year 1, decent. Year 2, worse. Year 3, yellow tomatoes, stunted peppers, and a receipt for over $240 in inputs before she'd planted a single seed. She wasn't failing because she didn't have a green thumb. She was failing because she was managing a biological system with advice designed for open ground, not for a closed container. And nobody told her the difference. The Biological Heist. Section. Here's what they never told you about watering raised beds deeply and consistently. It's the fastest way to destroy them. When you flood a raised bed, especially one sitting on landscaping fabric or a liner, you aren't just hydrating the roots. You are washing nitrogen, the primary fuel your plants need, straight out through the bottom. The soil food web, that complex community of bacteria, fungi, and nematodes that actually creates fertility, doesn't want to be flooded. It wants to be humid and alive. You are literally flushing your money away with every watering can. Type water in the comments right now if you were taught to water this way. I want to see how many of us were handed the exact method that guarantees a lower yield. The raised bed isn't a garden bed. In the way most people build and manage it, it's a bathtub. Beautiful to look at, biologically isolated, and quietly expensive to maintain. Before we go further, let me explain something that will change how you see everything after this. It's called the soil food web. Healthy soil is not a substance. It is an ecosystem. Bacteria, fungi, nematodes, earthworms, hundreds of species in a single handful of living garden soil in a web of relationships that took years to establish. Those relationships are what create fertility. Plants signal what they need through their roots. The ecosystem responds. Nutrients move. Growth happens. Think of it like a social network built over decades. Every connection enables other connections. Destroy a few key nodes by filling your bed with heat-processed commercial mix and then leaching what little microbial life remains with daily deep watering, and the whole network collapses. Now your plant is an island, and you are its entire support system. That's the mechanism behind why raised bed maintenance costs seniors more every single year. Not because beds are expensive, because the industry that sells you the inputs has every incentive to ensure your soil cannot sustain itself. The reason this matters here is that fixing it does not require buying anything. It requires stopping. The Forbidden Grain Files. I found a reference in a 19th century agricultural journal that described a practice the industrial farming movement worked very hard to make you forget. Not a raised bed in the modern sense. A hugelkultur, a mound system built on buried wood. The mechanism is this. Buried logs act as a slow-release water reservoir. As the wood decomposes, it absorbs water equal to several times its dry weight and releases it back to the roots during heat and drought. A properly built hugelkultur bed retains 40 to 60% more soil moisture than a conventional raised bed through the entire growing season. Field trials documenting this have been replicated by university extension programs across 3 continents. It turns a bathtub into a self-sustaining ecosystem. It's not a secret. It's a skill that was replaced with buy this bag of fertilizer and water every day. I'm going to show you something right now that every traditional raised bed guide would call a mistake. My conventional neighbors are irrigating daily. Their soil is cracking at the surface. I dug 4 inches into my hugelkultur bed. It has not been watered in 3 weeks, and the moisture reading is perfect for root growth. That's not luck. That's physics. That's been documented since before your great-grandparents were born. Are you growing in raised beds right now or directly in the ground? Drop it below. One word is enough. Here's the part most gardening channels never get to, because they stop at the method and never explain the mechanism. The carbon to nitrogen ratio. When you fill a raised bed with bagged organic soil that contains too much woody carbon-rich material, cheap mulch, poorly composted filler, and most of what goes into the bags on the shelf at the garden center, you trigger a nitrogen deficit. The microbial community consuming all that carbon needs nitrogen to do it. It takes that nitrogen from the same pool your plants are drawing from. Your plants turn yellow. You buy more fertilizer to fix the yellowing. The fertilizer feeds the plant directly and kills more of the surviving microbial community. Next season, the bed is even more dependent on external inputs. You aren't treating a nutrient deficiency. You are funding both sides of a chemical war happening in the first 6 inches of your box. That's the midpoint. And I want to be honest, when I started writing the notes for this video, I was going to frame this as a simple fix. But somewhere on a Tuesday evening, going through extension service research on closed container growing systems, I realized the problem was upstream of everything I'd planned to address. So we changed direction. What I'm about to give you is not a product recommendation. It's 3 specific actions that cost almost nothing. The Zero Input Harvest System. 1. Stop tilling. Every time you turn a raised bed, you destroy the mycorrhizal networks forming in the lower layers, the fungal threads that connect plant root systems and extend their nutrient reach tenfold. Cover plant with something shallow-rooted. Let the structure rebuild itself underground. 2. Mulch heavily every autumn. Not decoratively, a minimum of 3 inches of shredded leaves or straw across the entire surface, left undisturbed through winter. This is the single highest return action available to a raised bed gardener on any budget. It is free. Ancient farmers knew it. Modern soil science has confirmed it. The gardening product industry has no interest in telling you. 3. 1 tablespoon of unsulfured blackstrap molasses dissolved in a gallon of water. Applied once in spring, once in late summer, poured directly onto the bed surface. Molasses feeds specific classes of beneficial bacteria rapidly, the ones that produce the compounds your plants actually absorb. This is not folk remedy. The mechanism is documented in peer-reviewed soil biology research. The cost is roughly 40 cents per treatment, 2 treatments per year, 80 cents total, compared to $240. I narrowed it to 3. There is a 4th technique, a traditional Korean practice involving fermented kitchen scraps that accelerates microbial recovery that I am not including here because I have not personally verified it consistently enough to stand behind it. If you think you know what it is, drop it in the comments. If you are someone serious enough about your land to understand why things work, not just what to do, this channel is for you. Subscribe. We go this deep every single week. Patricia ran this protocol for 1 full season. She did not buy a single bag of soil. She did not buy fertilizer. She shredded her fall leaves and covered both beds completely. She added the molasses treatments in May and August. She planted exactly what she always planted. Her year 4 yield was the best she had seen since year 1. Her input cost was $11. She left a comment that said, "I've been doing this wrong for years and nobody ever explained the actual reason why. This changed how I think about my soil." That comment is why this video exists. For the next 7 days, don't water on a schedule. Get your hands into the soil 4 inches down. If it's damp, stop. Then smell it. Does it smell like a forest floor, dark and alive? Or does it smell sour, like standing water? That smell is your diagnostic tool. It will tell you more about what your bed actually needs than any product label ever will. You are not someone who is just bad at gardening. You are someone who was handed a system designed to keep costing you money and who now understands exactly why it was costing you that much. That understanding is the whole thing. Now that you understand how soil biology is draining your raised bed's productivity, you need to understand what happens to your roots when soil temperature fluctuates by 20 degrees overnight. That's the mechanism that kills your harvest before you even know it's happening. That video is right here. Which of these 3 changes are you already doing? Count them and drop your number below. And if you've run a soil audit like the one I just described, tell me what your bed smelled like. I read every one.